that always makes it like a big play set. It makes it like something you would have dreamed of having as a kid, but you can only have as an adult. Hey Lego fans, I'm here with my blocks buddy Daniel to talk about BrickLink Designer Program Series 6. I don't know how we're on Series 6 already, but we are. So we're going to talk through the different sets that are coming in this wave of BrickLink Designer Program, give our reactions to them, and hopefully it might help you decide which ones you want to get, which ones you want to skip. Of course, if you're not just being like the classic Lego fan stereotype and ordering all 5 when they go on sale. So the first one we'll talk about, Daniel, is Gold Mine Expedition by BrickProject. That's 3,382 pieces. So it's definitely on the larger end of BrickLink Designer Program sets.
I feel like the best way to describe this set is it's almost like a Wild West modular. I think that's a fair description. So it's kind of got the classic modular format of multiple levels that are removable with full interiors on the inside. So it's a very cool concept. I mean, obviously not designed to join to a bunch of them because, you know, Wild West is a kind of a standalone thing. But it's really in those details of those rooms that this set, to me, really stood out as just being something that was really cool and unique.
Definitely. I really like the fact that they've got that format, the fact you can get inside, get to all the details, have the interior rooms, you know, because that always makes it like a big play set. It makes it like something you would have dreamed of having as a kid, but you can only have as an adult when you've got the patience to build it and the space to have it out. But the thing that I really love about it, although it takes that modular layered approach, the form of it is really rugged. The terrain is all like, you know, it looks like it belongs in the Old West. You know, it's not squared off or anything like that. And, you know, the fact that you've got the train track running underneath so that they can get the gold out of it, like that kind of stuff is just, it's just gold. It's just, you know, it's the one that out of this wave, it's hard to choose, but it's on the higher end of the ones that I'm excited about from this batch.
And I think for this one too, it's also cool. You know, you said Old West, and it just got me thinking. As one who loved the original Western or Wild West sets from the 90s, like this one kind of fills a gap, if you will, because we didn't get. I mean, technically, the Bandit's secret hideout was in a gold mine, abandoned one, but like we didn't get a formal gold mine set, and that's just such a quintessential part of the the Wild West lore. You know, so many movies. It's the showdown at the gold mine, or the rescuing the miners from the gold mine,
and the detail that the design is packed in to speak to all of that. I think is fabulous, and it's just like a really special model, and I think. It's on my list. This one is 100% on mine.
And it also just has some really good techniques and such. So like it's not just going to be a fun subject matter and a good looking model. It also looks like it will be a really fun build.
Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that every time we have one of these discussion videos, you'll find out about it, and do us a favor and like the video while you're playing around with the buttons down there. But let's move on to the Outlaw Forest Den, because every BrickLink Designer Program has to have its castle themed thing. And this time it's by Brickhammer, and it's 2,617 parts. So a little bit smaller than the gold mine, but still a decent, sizable Lego set. So what was your take on this one, Daniel?
So I really, again, I sound like a broken record. I'm excited about all of them, but this one, so one of the things that I really love about this is that they go back to these older themes that we loved as kids, and they sort of flesh them out, right? When Wolfpack came out, it wasn't really a formal sub-theme. Like, yeah, it kind of was, but it was kind of in that era where they just did insignias, and there weren't very many sets, and it was really hard to get any quantity of the minifigures. And so here we have it done right. You know, here's this big tower with a whole, robbers or thieves gang of figures that with the insignia, and really taking advantage of the fact that the Lego Group released that classic Wolfpack insignia on a torso in the Lion Knight's castle. So it was there, it was available, and they just went to town with it. Brickhammer did a great job of just really capitalizing on that and giving us this. This is the only Wolfpack set you need. And that's just so cool, because it didn't really feel that way when the sub-theme originally came out.
I think, the way that people latch onto a new minifigure that's been brought back and are inspired to create a whole set is one of my favorite things about BrickLink Designer Program. And in this particular one, like, not only is all the nostalgia there and all of the excitement about having the Wolfpack back there, but the form of the set, like how elegant it looks like these guys have found this abandoned structure in the forest. They've built around it. They've cobbled onto it. There's aspects of nature which fits in with the way they were always hiding out. You know, they're not the guys who have the big formal castle like the Lion Knights. They're the guys who have the rugged, half-built sort of like, you know, slightly crumbling thing out in the woods.
And that's such a motif, right? For that kind of outlaw band, you know, oh, they discover this ruin in their, you know, their forest, Sherwood Forest, whatever we want to call it. And, you know, they occupy it, and that becomes their base of operations and all of that. And they're just really leaning into it. You know, the figures have their, you know, different robber garb and such. But the model itself is also very good. I really love the brick-built portcullis that, you know, goes up and down. That was always a favorite feature of mine, of, you know, the kind of classic castles that I grew up with. So I'm loving this kind of return to the brick-built early versions that we've seen in a couple of models, and it's recreated here. And then again, just a lovely interior, you know, with the different rooms and, you know, the weapons storage and the place where they come back and drink their ale when they're done with their, you know, the day's adventures and all of that. It's just a really well done set that just really feels like it does that Wolfpack sub-theme justice after all these years.
And then just the piece de resistance is having the wolves in there with the Wolfpack minifigures. It's just like
something we could only have dreamed of back in the day. But yeah, and you know, not just one, but multiple wolves included with this, which is really cool.
Absolutely. So right now we're talking about BrickLink Designer Program sets, but if you want to find out when the latest Lego sets get announced, as soon as they get announced, then go to the web address on the screen and in the description down below and get signed up to the Blocks newsletter. It's completely free, and we'll tell you the second that new Lego sets are announced, so you know all about them before your friends in the community. So now let's move on to the next set in BrickLink Designer Program Series 6, the Art Factory by Marcus Garavelli, 2,566 pieces. This one is so much fun, isn't it?
It is. It's so cool.
He had this whole concept about designing a place that represents all different types of creativity. So painting and music and sculpture and all the different artistic pursuits that you might do. And it was all like based on a family connection. So you can see that there's so much sort of love and passion that's been poured into this particular one.
Yeah, and the interior is so cool, right? Where he's got these like different studios, if you will, on the various floors that are devoted to each of these various, you know, artistic modes of expression. I was particularly excited by the little dance studio. We've technically had dance studios in the past, but this one just is so reminiscent of both of my daughters did dance and ballet when they were younger, and so I've spent so much time in rooms exactly like that. So there was that familiarity, and I think a lot of people will be able to find, you know, something that they personally connect with in this one, where it's, oh, hey, yeah, that's, you know, something that I love too, and, you know, here's a place that it can be done now that I can put in my Lego city, and what a building to add to your Lego city.
I think that's so nice, the way that the exterior of the building looks like the sort of, you know, big tall brick building that you would, you know, you dream of finding in a city, where it's like, this, you know, it's got the very nice kind of understated vibe, and then inside there's all this creativity and expression going on. And like it hinges out in a really elegant way. So it looks really nice when it's all compact as one big tower, but then it also looks really good when you've got the whole thing flat.
Yes.
And I think it's always nice when there's kind of multiple display options in these things, because you never know. You have an idea in your head when you order these things where they're going to go, and then when they arrive and you build them, it always ends up going somewhere different, or you have to figure the space out with everything else, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And I also really love just a lot of the little details. My favorite one is, and cool building techniques, you know, always make me happy. But this is one where he's taken the garage doors, you know, kind of the classic clear garage door elements that, you know, normally go, you know, up and down, and he's flipped them on the side so that we get these lovely narrow panes of glass that just look so cool. I'm very, very curious to get my hands on this one and see exactly how those are anchored top and bottom.
Yeah.
And I know like there's been similar techniques in a few of the modulars and such, but this is just putting it front and center and just repeating it over and over, making it like the entire facade of the building, which is just so cool. It's a really lovely detail that just gives it such a unique look. And at this point, that's like the challenge with these buildings, is to really give them a look that is their own, because, you know, between the modulars and then just so many different fan designs of this kind of type of building, the rough size of the 32 by 32 base plate, just being able to do it as uniquely as he has is just a real testament to how excellent this model is.
Absolutely. And it's not the only kind of real life set in this particular series of BrickLink, because there's also Off-Road Adventure by King Creations, and that one's 978 pieces. So the smallest one in this particular wave. But obviously we say small, but 978 pieces.
Isn't it crazy that we now think of like 978 pieces used to be like an unimaginable piece count for a set. And now it's just like, oh, the small one is 978 pieces.
Especially by BrickLink standards, because that's it, when fans can do these things and fans can go wild with the part palette. Things get big.
Yeah, but that's part of the reason I really actually like this one is I always do appreciate the small but excellent.
Yeah,
if you will. Like there's something about, and again, 978 pieces is still a decent piece count, of course. But there's something to be said for kind of less is more.
Yeah.
And with BrickLink, it's nice, or with ideas, or really almost at this, it's nice to have something that's a little bit more, that's under $100 is nice to have. And this is just, again, so well done. Like the fact that it's, smaller than maybe your typical BrickLink Designer Program set. They haven't really sacrificed the uniqueness or the excellence. Like I'm a big fan of rock work. I love doing rock work, incorporated into a lot of my own builds. And this is just top-notch rock work. And, that they've incorporated into this along with water. You got the little stream and the fish jumping. So there's just a lot packed into this small footprint and, comparatively small part count.
And I think, touching on like less is more. The fact there's a few trees there that give the hint of what's beyond it. And that's kind of often the secret to a good diorama, is having enough there that you can get a flavor of the scene and imagine what's beyond it, rather than trying to fit everything into this really tiny footprint and overdoing it. It's got really lovely composition in that sense. And it kind of really makes the 4x4 and the bike kind of focal points of it that really draw your eye in. And then you can imagine the adventure that these guys are going on and what kind of outdoor trip they're going to have.
Yeah, and that 4x4 is really cool as well. It used to be really rare. It's a little less rare now, but the off-road vehicle, right? Hey, we're going to go off the beaten trail and we're going to go mudding, or we're going to drive off into the back country or something like that. It's not as common as, a lot of other types of vehicles. So it's always fun to kind of get that. It's a type of vehicle I've loved since the Outback sets from the 90s, which was, again, very small, little sub-theme, kind of your thing of kind of hinted more at the things that were going on around it as opposed to really showing it to you. But there was a really cool, kind of 4x4 off-road vehicle, had a winch on the front. And it just, when I saw this set, I immediately thought of that, and I loved that set as a kid. So it just immediately connected with me on that level of, here's another really good off-road vehicle.
Your point there's a really good one, because if you think about it, I think the Lego Group shied away from too many nature-based sets because there's not much building to be done. And especially for children, in models for children, what, you're going to get them to build loads and loads of terrain in order to play? The children can imagine the terrain. They just need the cars and the animals and stuff like that to get playing. But again, the beauty of BrickLink, the beauty of these things that are specifically for adult fans is you can get us to build some fancy rock work and things. We've got the patience for it. We've got the desire for it in a way that obviously things that are targeted at children, you might not focus on that so much. And if you enjoy these sort of conversations we have and these deep dives we do into different Lego topics, then go over to blocksmag.com, find out everything you need to know about Blocks Magazine, buy some issues, take out a subscription package. It's all the sort of stuff that you'll like if you're a Lego fan. But the last set to talk about in this series, the Sequoia Tree Trail by Peace on Earth. It's 3,187 pieces. And it is another nature-based set. We've got two in the same wave, which is interesting. And if you like your outdoor Lego sets, then this is the wave for you.
And we've got them small, and we've got them big.
Big.
This one is big. The thing I'm most interested with this one to get my hands on, and again, we got to see them in person, but I wasn't, of course, allowed to take them apart. I'm very curious to see how the supports for this tree work. Like, is it something like a brick head where we've just got kind of like an inner skeleton of, parts with the studs facing out that we're kind of rotating back and forth so that it, they face out on all four sides. But the tree technique is really good on this. And so tall. Like we know there's kind of these pegs that come up from the ground because the trees are removable, which startled me. So there's kind of these pegs that hold them roughly in place when you set them down. But I'm very curious to see how the structure of these trees was, because they are tall.
Yeah.
It's going to be a striking display piece. It's one of those that, it's not super deep, right? So it would fit on, certainly not on a shelf of a bookshelf, but if you had tall ceilings, you could set this on top of it. It would be a striking display piece.
Yeah, and I think like having the additional trees that aren't the main sequoias around them really adds to that sense of scale, because it has them kind of towering over everything else. And it really gives you a vibe for how tall these trees grow in reality, because it is slightly mind-boggling in real life how these things get so tall. Yeah. And then the Lego set captures that, it delivers that. Yeah,
and I think too, there are then the little structures, right? There's like the little stick structure, and then there's the cabin. Which again, like they did a good job with the cabin of it's a decent sized little cabin. It's got a nice little interior. It opens up and all of that. But cabins in the woods aren't meant to be very large. And this one, again, making it smaller just highlights the towering height of these trees. And but it's also nice, like it's got a nice little natural, again, both of the nature-based sets. When you have a city set, right? Like the Art Factory, it's very square. Yeah, this one has this kind of natural edge to it where it's, not uniform. It's kind of in and out. Again, it made to look like it's something in nature, which is just another lovely detail that will just really adds to the set.
It's just another cracking series of BrickLink Designer Program, and I am excited for when the pre-orders open, and slightly terrified of when the pre-orders open, because I have a feeling that there's going to be more added to my basket than there should be.
Are you going to be irresponsible again?
What do you know?
Color me shocked.
But let us know in the comments which BrickLink Designer Program sets from this series that you like. Let us know which ones you bought already. Give us your thoughts, give us your take. And before we know it, I'm sure we'll be looking at BrickLink Designer Program Series 7.
Whew.